Ruslan.
Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, it's down. I'm gonna specifically talk about why this is a good thing, okay? There's a whistleblower that came out from Facebook that I believe this aired yesterday on 60 Minutes. We're gonna look at this clip and I'm gonna give you guys a Bible verse, of course, to glue this entire thing together, okay? The stuff that came out from this whistleblower is wild. It's hilarious that they came out and then boom, the entire platform is down, Instagram is down, and I understand there's a lot of folks that do business on Instagram, there's a lot of folks that do business on Facebook, but hopefully you guys are enjoying your day from social media. We're going to be looking at this story that just came out, and this is someone that worked at Facebook that came out and made some wild claims about the internal issues they knew was happening. So it's not just Facebook, this is Instagram and Facebook, because this applies across both platforms. But let's check this clip out.
To quote from another one of the documents you brought out, we have evidence from a variety of sources that hate speech, divisive political speech, and misinformation on Facebook and the family of apps are affecting societies around the world.
You don't say. You don't say.
We live in an information environment that is full of angry, hateful, polarizing content. It erodes our civic trust, it erodes our faith in each other, it erodes our ability to want to care for each other. The version of Facebook that exists today is tearing our societies apart.
Here's the thing, if we're followers of Jesus, those of us that are followers of Jesus, we know what? We know that as believers, as followers, the greatest command is to love God with all your heart, all your mind. The second is like it, to love your neighbor as yourself. I would guess that a lot of us have fallen out with our neighbor over the years over Facebook, Instagram, and social media, okay? Because what people don't know is 93% of communication is non-verbal. 93%, meaning a lot of communication is your tone, your facial expressions, your mannerisms, body language. You're seeing text, but you're not understanding the heart behind it, all those different things, right? So this is why Facebook, Instagram could be such a toxic platform for a lot of people. So let's keep watching.
Violence. You have your phone. You might see only 100 pieces of content if you sit and scroll off for 5 minutes. But Facebook has thousands of options it could show you.
The algorithm picked.
By the way, hold on. Thousands of options. How many of us have been asking for a chronological order back to Instagram? Just give us the option of looking things, instantly the way it was intended to be looked at when Instagram first came out. It was supposed to be Instagram, so you could see people instant movements and what they were doing, right? And they refused to even give you the option to change it to a chronological order. At least Twitter did that. You guys don't know that Twitter has two options. You can click on, you can see things chronologically, or you could decide to see things in the way they would curate for you, okay?
From those options based on the kind of content you've engaged with the most in the past.
So they're showing you with stuff you've engaged with, but here's the kicker. Here's why you should be happy, okay? Here's why. Listen to what they say next.
And one of the consequences of how Facebook is picking out that content today is that it is optimizing for content that gets engagement, a reaction. But its own research is showing that content that is hateful, that is divisive, that is polarizing, it's easier to inspire people to anger than it is to other emotions.
Misinformation, angry content is enticing to people and keeps them on the platform.
Yes. Facebook has realized that if they change the algorithm to be safer, people will spend less time on the site, they'll click on less ads, they'll make less money.
They know that if they were to make the algorithm safer, they know that they would then lose engagement on the site and therefore get people off the site. They know this, and they still continue to show you things on Facebook and Instagram that they know is going to elicit anger and fear. And a lot of people I look around are afraid. There's some of you guys right now on this video. The agenda. A lot of people are afraid. A lot of people are triggered. A lot of people are angry. And this is the very thing that keeps you in their ecosystem. This is the very thing that keeps you active. And worse, it keeps you divided with your brother and sister. It keeps you polarized. It keeps you angry. And so they tried to set some safeguards around the election with all the misinformation going on. Shout out to those of you guys that still believe Trump's going to get reinstated, right? But they did that for a season, and then you know what they did? After the election, they took it all down. And then you know what happened? January 6th happened. I don't even want to say that because they be out here wild with that. So I got a verse for you, and you guys aren't going to like the way I apply it, but that's okay. Proverbs chapter 4, daily Proverbs. Read a chapter of Proverbs a day. Will keep all the foolishness and shenanigans away. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. Avoid all perverse talk. Stay away from what? Corrupt speech. Look straight ahead and fix your eyes on what lies before you. Mark out a straight path for your feet. Stay on the safe path. Don't get sidetracked. Keep your feet from following evil. Okay, so what you're consuming, what you're watching, what you're letting your mind marinate on, do you have some type of safeguards there? Are you just aimlessly and brainlessly consuming whatever's put in front of you by the algorithm, right? Then it says, avoid all perverse talk, stay away from corrupt speech. There's a lot of you that are exhibiting perverse talk, ignoring that it's corrupt speech, ignoring just to do the bare minimal of your own due diligence to fact check before you hit that share button. Everyone's a virologist, everyone's a critical theory expert, everyone's a Marxist expert, right? Like everybody knows everything, and that's really the Dunning-Kruger effect. If you want to go down that hole and understand what the Dunning-Kruger effect is, everybody's an expert on everything overnight in social media because you saw a meme or you read an article on BuzzFeed. You think you know everything about everything, okay? Avoid all perverse talk, stay away from corrupt speech. Okay, and then here's the big idea. Here's the application point. Look straight ahead. Fix your eyes on what lies before you. Make out a straight path for your feet. Stay on the safe path. Don't get sidetracked. Keep your feet from following evil. There's so many of us that are getting distracted by the latest thing, the latest thing that's supposed to have you triggered, the latest thing that's supposed to have you wound up. 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, it was critical race theory. Now it's the mandates. It's going to be something else after this. We're going to forget about these things. And yet no one's talking, or very few people are talking about, hey, they just discovered a daggone potential, what looks like to be a cure, a little pill that you could take to prevent yourself from getting the vid. They just did clinical trials, found that out today, and no one's telling you the good news about that, right? There's no one besides Dr. Z-Dog. I haven't seen anyone talk about that. All I see is all the scary stuff. Dr. Z-Dog is saying, hey, based on these initial trials, the pandemic will be over. No one's talking about that. No one's talking about that. We're going to tell you all the bad stuff. All along, you're glued to your phone, you're arguing with people, and you're not being a good neighbor. You're not being a good neighbor. And if you're a follower of Jesus, I don't care about your political party. I don't care about what ideology you hold to. Ultimately, you are called to be a good neighbor, to be a loving neighbor, not to always have all the answers, not to put your allegiance to a party or a movement ahead of your allegiance to Jesus. And Jesus said, I give you a new command. Love each other the way I've loved you. By this, they will know that you are my disciples. By what? By our love for each other, by our love for our neighbor, and even by our love for our enemies. And so if you are unsettled in your spirit, you should be happy that Facebook, Instagram, a lot of these platforms are down because they're going to they're just going to create some unnecessary drama for you in your real life. And be careful with how you use them. There's an old saying about social media, and the saying goes, if you aren't paying for the service, if you aren't paying for the product, that means you are the product. If you aren't paying for the platform you're using, it means someone else is paying and you are actually the product and the commodity that they're selling. Whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, right? This is why I pay for YouTube Premium. This is why I pay for subscriptions that I believe in, right? So hopefully this was helpful to you guys, man. At the end of the day, stay focused on the things that God has in front of you. Don't get sidetracked. Keep your feet from following evil. Make a straight path for your feet. Focus on what God has put in front of you. What are you supposed to be faithful to in this season? I want to hear from you guys in the comments section.
Kingstream Entertainment. Ruslan.
Yo, thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. If you found it valuable, make sure you hit that like button and are subscribed. The Love What You Do album and apparel launch is here for a limited time. So if you want to partner with what we're doing here, make sure you hit the link in the description or in the pinned comment to pick you up some Love What You Do apparel to partner with what we're doing here on the channel. Thank you so much. Peace.